G'day guys, it's me again. Hope you're all having a good night. This evening I'm going to be doing a movie review. Now this movie is a Spanish film, but you don't have to worry, there's no subtitles. Only one word has been spoken in the whole film, so you don't have to worry about another language, because this really relies on its visuals rather than what you hear. So the film was made in 1994. As I said, it's Spanish, directed by Nacho Cerda, who is a fairly well-known director in Spanish cinema. And this movie is called Aftermath Genesis. Now I'm not sure how easily this is to get a copy. I had this one sent to me, so I can't help you with that. You might want to ask the other sort of extreme horror fans where they got it from, because as I said, this was sent to me and I don't think you can get it at all in Australia. So anyway, this film there's three short films for the whole feature. The first film goes for about 7 minutes, and the last two go for about half an hour each. So it's around the hour mark, so there's not a lot of concentrating that has to happen in this film. Although the actual stories, because they're not subtitled, there's no dialogue, you have to sort of pay attention because the actual screen, what you see on the screen tells a story in itself. So it's one of those movies that it's not hard to get through, but yeah, you might have to concentrate just a little bit. But for an hour, that's not a long time, so hopefully you get through it without any difficulties. So the first film, as I said, it's all about death. Now, the first film starts off, I'm not going to give anything away, but that really starts off on the beginning of death. And then we cut from that one, which is set in a classroom. We cut from the story in the classroom to the middle story. Now, the middle story is where this film gets all of its notoriety from. It has a real reputation as a very sick movie based on the second short film in this feature. Now, the second short film, a lot of people, it'll be too much for them. So go into it with extreme caution. The first story and the last story are pretty mild, but the second one is really revolting to say the least. And it's basically about morgue workers, these guys working in a morgue. They're opening up bodies, they're taking their organs, cutting their brains out, just doing the usual, getting them ready to be buried. And this guy on the front here, who works in the morgue, he has a liking to one of the bodies. And I'm not going to tell you what happens after that. It's something you're going to have to see to believe because it is shocking. And then we get to, sorry, the very first short film was called Awakening. The second one with the morgue workers is Aftermath. And then we have Genesis to finish off the feature, which is very different from the first two. It has more of an emotional impact on you. I felt the first short story only went for 7 minutes, so it didn't have a lot of time to really build anything. The second one, Aftermath, was really just to disgust you, and the third one really made you think, and it got you on a more emotional level. So, very three different short films, but all blended in under the same category as death. And that's as far as I go with the film. Now, as I said, this film is about death. It is a topic that a lot of people choose to ignore because a lot of people are afraid of it. But Nacho Cerda, the director, he really looks at it and he kind of gives you a very creepy feel as to what happens to your body when you die. You don't have any control on it, and anyone can do anything to you, and you won't be able to stop them. So that gives a really scary approach, and that's why I call this a horror movie. All because of the second short film in this series, because it really is horrifying. I'm not going to give anything away. You've probably heard about this movie numerous times, so you probably already know what's going to happen. Plus, it doesn't really spoil anything if I do give spoilers, but I never like doing that, so you're going to have to watch it to find out. But the second one is really shocking, and that's what gave its reputation as a very extreme film, because that second short film is very, very extreme. Now, the direction in this film was absolutely superb. As I said, no dialogue, so the director really had to focus on the visuals and have the visuals to tell a story without having to make it obvious as to what was going on. The actors did a fantastic job, especially the guy in the morgue there. He had to do a lot of facial expressions to show off his emotion, whether he was angry, turned on. You could see the expression in his face. So not being able to use any dialogue really gave them a challenge, gave the actors a challenge, and not only in the second film does this pay off, but in pretty much every film. As I said, the very first film only went for 7 minutes, so that wasn't too difficult, but I really liked the idea, and I thought it came across very well in that short space of time. But the second and third films really, really focused on the characters, So it really had to have a strong performance with the body language and the gestures that these guys make, because, as I said, it is a film that doesn't have any dialogue in it. So I would say this is an artsy sort of film. If you think that this is for you, I'd definitely pick it up. Personally, I loved it. It's very extreme. It's not a film I can watch over and over, but for any extreme fan who hasn't got this already, do yourself a favour, go out and get it. It's very artistic and it will make you think. And as I said, a really, really difficult thing to do, tell a story through visuals. And because it was a very short time frame for each short movie, I thought that it was perfectly placed, because any longer than half an hour with no dialogue is going to start to wear thin. But I thought Nacho Cerda hit the nail on the head with this one, and everything about this was pretty perfect. But as I said, if you're not into extreme stuff, the second short film will really shock you and disgust you. So you might want to skip that one, although I think the second story is the reason this one has all the attention, and probably the reason why it's so popular. So I would definitely recommend Aftermath Genesis for all of you guys out there who are into extreme cinema. It's definitely one worth checking out, and as I said, very extreme, but I thought that it was very good and very unique, and so it kind of gives it an art house sort of feel, in my opinion. Alright guys, that's it for my review. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you later.